Thanks for joining me to color. Today we're going to be working on this adorable CC Designs image called Winter Snowman. Isn't he cute? I will put a link down in the description box to the card kit and all the supplies I used. I would love for you to come shopping with me. If you have a question, go ahead and leave me a comment and I will make sure to get back to you. Otherwise, I have already stamped my image on Nina 80-pound Solar White cardstock with Memento Tuxedo Black ink. So let's color. So let's start out by outlining our image with W00. And I'm just going to do a quick outline all the way around. And I like to do it first so that in case I get some on my image, I can erase it if I feel like it. And I don't have to worry about touching any other colors and bleeding them off into my background, which I tend to do. I'm just going to do quick all the way around. And you can make your line as skinny or as fat as you would like. And back over here to the other side. Let's go up here and do the bird next. For that, we're going to use E27, 25, and 13. For his beak, we're going to use YR12 and Y32, and then we're going to use the Y32 on his feet. So I'm going to start with my E27, and I'm going to give it a little bit of color right here on the edge of his face. And I'm going to do a little bit dab on his wing. And then his tail. And then I'm going to do a little bit here underneath of his wing too. And then I'm going to add E25. I'm going to go ahead and fill in the underside of his wing there. And then we'll bring this over just a bit. A little bit on his tail feathers. And his wing. And then let's do a little dab right here. And then we're going to fill it in with our E13. Then we're going to take our YR12 and do his beak. So I'm going to do just a little bit here on the bottom. And then the bottom of his beak. And then I'm going to fill it in with my Y32. And then I'll also do his feet. He's got just a little dab of his feet showing there at the bottom. Let's do the snowman's nose next. For that, we're going to use YR18, 7, 4, and 12. I'm going to start with my YR18. I'm going to do a small line along the bottom. And then I want to do each one of these lines that are already drawn. And then we're going to add YR7. And I'm just making the lines just a little bit wider. And then we're going to add YR04. And this I'm going to go ahead and fill in underneath the bird. And then we'll just bring this up just a little bit. And then I'll fill in the rest of it with our YR12. And I'm going to go ahead and just go all the way across. Swoosh all those colors together. Let's work on the scarves next. For that, we're going to use BG72, B52, and B21. I'm going to start over here on the little bird, and I'm going to fill in his scarf around his neck with my BG72. And then I'm going to give each of these little bow ties a little dab of color. And then I'm going to add B52. And then I'll go over the whole thing with my B21. And then we'll go down here and we'll do the little snowman scarf. So again, I'm going to start with my B72. And let's do right next to the knot here. And then I'm going to bring it out on this line that's already there. Then I'm going to go underneath his hat and I'm going to add a little wrinkle over here. And then I'm going to add a little dab to his bow knot. And then a little dab on the end of this and down this line. And then he's got a little bitty tiny spot over here showing, so I'm going to color that in with that BG72. Then we're going to add B52. go ahead and go right over the top of the BG72. And then we'll add some B21. And I want it to be a little darker, so I'm going to go a second time. So let's grab BG72. And then we'll add B52. And then we'll go over the entire thing with our B21. For the snowman, I'm going to use BV20, BG70, and my colorless blender. I'm going to start with my BV20. And let's do his arm over here first. So he's got a little bit of a crease right here. So I'm going to do a little dab of my BB20 there. And then a little dab along the inside of his arm. And then I'm going to grab BG70. Turn my little guy a little bit here. And I'm just going to brush right along the edge and go off just a little bit off the BB20. And then we'll give it a little dab over here. And then I'm going to take my colorless blender and go over both of those colors and off the edge a little bit. And let's do his foot down here too. So again, start with your BV20. And I'm going to do a little dab right here on that wrinkle. And then we'll add BG70. And then again with our colorless blender. Okay, let's see here. How about this other foot? So again, grab your BV20. Let's go right along here. And then I'm going to go, let's go right along the bottom of his foot. Up the side. And then we'll do the back here. Like that. And then I'm going to do a little dab right here in the crease of his belly. And then we want to do around his scarf. And then we're going to add some BG70. So we just want to soften those edges. And belly. And then we'll go over both those again with our colorless blender. And then we'll go up here and we'll do his face. So grab your BV20 again. And I'm going to do a little dab right here underneath of his nose. And then let's do up here by his hat. And right along his scarf. And then we're going to soften that with our BG70. And then go over that with our colorless blender. Do a little bit more up here. And then down here on his arm, now that it's dried, I'm going to do this another quick swipe. For their hats, I'm going to use E19, R29, R24, R05, R22, and for the stripes on this hat, I'm going to use BG72. So let's start over here on the little bird's hat with E19. And I'm just going to give that a little dab right here in the corner. And then I'm going to add R29. And then R24. R05, and then R22. Let's go over here and do his little hat. So again, let's start with our E19. So I'm going to do that right along his hat. And then I'm going to add R29. And I like to cover the E19 up all the way with my R29 so it softens, gives it that red tone. And then we'll do R24. R05. And then R22 to fill that little spot in. All right, so let's grab E19 again, and let's do this little ear flap. So I'm going to do right along the edge of this hat. And we're going to come up here along the side. And then we're going to go with R29. So I want to go over the top of that. Make it a little bit wider. And then we'll add R24. And I'm going to color right over the top of all those lines. You could try to miss them if you want, but they're pretty dinky, so I'm just going to color over them. And then R05. And then our R22 to fill that last spot in. Alright, let's go over here and do the back of his hat. Well, let's do the top here, this little cuff here. So let's do E19. And I go up here to this little crease. And then R29. And then R24. R05. And then R22 to fill that little spot in. And the back of his hat, let's do E19. I'm going to go right along the edge here. And then I want to go around the back of his hat too. So let's go over here to this stripe. And then we're going to add R29. And then R24. And then R05. And then our R22 to fill that in. then I took my BG72 and I just went over each of these lines, and they're pretty dinky, so you got to use just the tip of your pen. A couple right here on the bill of his hat, so let's do those. And we'll go right along here. So the pom-poms on their hat, we're going to use C851 and the colorless blender. I'm going to do C8 first, and let's add a couple of little dots over here on this little bird's hat. Like that. And then we'll add some over here to his hat. And then we'll add some C5. And then C1. And then I'm going to take my colorless blender and just go over all those dots and swoosh them together. Be careful not to touch your red. So there's our winter snowman all colored up. Didn't he turn out cute? Love him. And again, here's my finished card. So on my finished card, the little North Pole sign is popped up on Pop Dots and the tag here. And then this little dotty paper with the mat is a circle in your kit. So you're going to want to attach that to this blue piece. I'll put all the things together and then attach this and then cut it off and then attach it to the card base. I didn't know where you'd want to put it, so I just left it as a circle so that you could make sure it fits on there perfectly. So I hope you had fun coloring with me today. Again, if you have a question, leave me a comment and I'll get back to you. Otherwise, we'll see you next time. Have a great day. Bye.